These pipes carry hot water from a central unit for winter heating in the city, common in Russia. La Pérouse left Petropavlovsk in 1787, sailing into Botany Bay on the 26th of January 1788, just after the First Fleet had left for Port Jackson. He left Australia on the 10th of March and was shipwrecked and died, aged 47, just north of the New Hebrides. The now extinct Uzon volcano collapsed 40,000 years ago during several massive eruptions, leaving a valley 9 kilometers by 12, featuring over 1,000 hot springs, warm lakes and boiling mud pools. 15 kilometres away is the Valley of the Geysers. Only discovered in 1941, it's the most compact of any geyser field in the world, covering just 4 square kilometres but filled with 90 geysers and 500 geothermal hot springs. Evidence of the local bear population.
It is considered to be one of the most beautiful geysers here.
With the exception of helicopter flight time when it was too noisy to hear or speak, our young guide spoke non-stop for the hour's bus ride to the chopper base and the whole time we were on the ground. Interestingly, her parents had sent her to the Gold Coast to improve her English, and she then volunteered to teach English to Vietnamese children. With a strong Russian accent, no doubt. The Nalichevsky Nature Park was established in 1995 in the valley of the Nalichevo River, which flows to the Pacific and is surrounded by ancient and mostly extinct volcanoes. Thermal and mineral springs are concentrated in a 40 square kilometre area in the river's upper reaches. Nalichevo is the biggest of these springs, releasing over 50 litres of water per second between 14 and 75 degrees Celsius. The springs are highly mineralised with a lot of rare trace elements. Bears concentrate here during salmon spawning and berry season. Stella's sea lions, now a near threatened species, are the largest of the eared seals. Adult females average 2.5 metres, weighing 260 kilos, whilst males average 3 metres and weigh 550 kilos. They eat a wide variety of fish, but also prey on seals and sea otter pups. Near the top of the food chain, they're susceptible to predation by orcas and white sharks. George Stella was a German botanist, zoologist, physician and explorer who travelled with Vitus Bering on his 1740 Kamchatka expedition. He was the first to describe and name Stella's sea eagle, Stella's jay, Stella's sea lion, Stella's eider and Stella's sea cow. Bering Island was the only known habitat of Stella's sea cows, huge animals of over 4,000 kilos and 9 metres long, similar to the dugong. They were hunted to extinction within 27 years of their discovery by Europeans in 1741. Sea otters are about 1.6 metres long and weigh about 37 kilos. With no blubber to keep them warm, they have the densest fur of any animal on Earth, an estimated 1 million hairs per square inch. They are constantly grooming because if their fur becomes dirty, it can't absorb the air needed to keep them warm. Hunted extensively between 1741 and 1911, with pelts selling for up to $1,000 US each, drove them towards extinction, but numbers have rebounded in the 20th century following a ban on hunting. Needing to consume 25 to 40% of their body weight daily to keep warm, they're one of only a few mammals to use tools, holding a stone on their chest to crack open shells. Sea otters can live their entire lives without leaving the water and often sleep holding paws so they don't drift apart. They form rafts ranging from as few as 10 up to 1,000 animals or more. Here in Ruskaya Bay, a number of fishermen live in these wrecks over summer catching salmon, mainly for caviar. Apparently, Ruskaya Bay is also an abandoned Russian border post. Atlasov is the northernmost island in the 1,300-kilometre Kuril chain. Its symmetrical stratovolcano Alade is the tallest in the Kurils, rising 3,000 metres from the seafloor and forming a small island. It's one of the Kurils' most active volcanoes, with the most recent eruptions in 1996 and 97. Volcanic activity indicating new lava flows inside the summit caldera were detected as recently as July 2016. There are remnants of huts for a women's prison or gulag that was located here. The women, many of them political or intellectual prisoners during the Soviet era, were sent here to raise foxes for their fur. Red and Arctic foxes were introduced to the Kurils in the 1880s for the fur trade. Red fox populations appear to be expanding as the warming climate allows them to survive further north. Red foxes are 25% larger than Arctic foxes, but lack their adaptations to severely cold habitats, including their insulating fur coat and fur-covered footpads. The Kuril Island fox is a large and strongly coloured subspecies of the red fox. Severokurilsk on Paramushir Island was destroyed during a massive tsunami in 1952, killing about half of the 6,000 inhabitants. The town was later rebuilt on high ground with its current population of about 2,500. The pitchy islets are made up of volcanic ash and basalt rocks. The name means Island of Birds. Harbour seals vary in colour from white or silver grey to black or dark brown. Almost all have spots, unique to the individual. Koten is an uninhabited island consisting of two stratovolcanoes, Nemo to the north and Krenitsin to the south, connected by an isthmus. The Ainu people lived here prior to European contact, and these rings are all that remain of a dwelling site. The island's name is derived from the Ainu word for large village. Paramashir Island was Japanese territory until 1951, and this is one of their former military bases, manned now by a couple of Russian fishermen who also seem to act as lookouts. A bear recently broke into this salmon hatchery and ate the eggs the fishermen were cultivating. The second largest in the Kuril chain, Paramashir means broad island in the Ainu language. 5 of its 23 volcanoes are still active. There are red fox, Arctic hare, ermine and bears here, but Kurils is the only permanent settlement. We returned here to obtain medical help for Jeff, whose wrist was broken after a fall on slippery rocks. Yankicha is the southern part of Ushashir Island, linked when a tiny isthmus is not submerged by the tide. Yankicha's caldera is the result of underwater pillow lava reaching the surface to finally eject ashes, whilst the centre of the inner lake is made of cooled lava. steaming fumaroles with boiling water and sulphur-coated rocks are evidence of the island's continuing volcanic activity. The small blue Arctic fox turns white in winter. Its existence is threatened by global warming, giving more territory to its main competitor, the red fox. Apex predators of the sea, orcas are toothed whales and belong to the oceanic dolphin family. Up to 8 meters long, weighing up to 6 tons, they are able to reach speeds in excess of 56 kilometers an hour. Social animals, they travel in pods, communicating by clicks. The Kuril Islands and Sea of Okhotsk are surrounded by some of the most productive waters in the North Pacific, catering to the orca's diverse diet. The Churpoy Islands, surrounded by numerous offshore rocks and small islets, are the remains of a partially submerged volcanic caldera 8 to 9 kilometers wide. Churpoy is the larger northern island, and this smaller island is Brat Churpoyev, Churpoy's brother. The Ainu name meant a place of many small birds. The Ainu are an indigenous people of the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido, the Kuril Islands and Russia's Sakhalin Island. Hunter-gatherers, the Ainu were animists, believing all things to be inhabited by spirits. Although they had many gods, the most important was the god of bears and mountains. They had no written language, and the spoken language is now so critically endangered that only 10 native speakers are estimated to remain. There are 3 overlapping stratovolcanoes here on Cherpoi.
Dear passenger, good morning, good afternoon, your captain. Quelques informations sur le programme de cet après-midi. Few information regarding our afternoon program. Donc nous sommes en train d'appareiller afin de repositionner le navire devant la coulée de lave en activité. We are now heaving up the anchor in order to proceed in front of the lava flow in activities. Et donc on va scinder les sorties en Zodiac en 2 fois cet après-midi. We will separate the Zodiac cruise in 2 parts. Donc la première partie à partir de 14h pour le premier groupe, uniquement pour aller voir la coulée de lave en activité, durera environ 45 minutes.
This volcano, named Snow, has been erupting since November 2012. Lava flows reach the sea, generating explosions on contact and emitting steam and ash plumes.
good morning, this is your captain. Il est 8 heures, il est l'heure, à la bonne heure. Donc, juste pour vous informer, bien qu'en raison de la présence de la forte houle, nous sommes contraints d'annuler le débarquement ce matin. Nous vous montrerons quelques images prises ce matin à la marina, où vous trouvez qu'il n'aurait pas fallu que des bottes, mais plutôt des cuissardes pour embarquer dans les Zodiacs. Donc nous allons vous proposer une matinée navigation et observation de mammifères si nous en rencontrons. Merci de votre compréhension à cet égard et je vous souhaite une excellente matinée. Évidemment, un programme alternatif va être mis en place avec des conférences. So dear passengers, just to let you know that due to the heavy swell this morning, unfortunately we are not able to maintain our landing. This is not safe at all to disembark you from the marina. We took some video this morning to show you how it was not even wet, but extra wet in the marina. However, we will do sailing alongside the coast of Europe Island this morning for any whale watching opportunities. And in the meantime, we'll set up an alternative program with lecture. Thank you for your understanding.
Unfortunately, the high swell prevents our landing on uninhabited Europe Island. It's the fourth largest of the Kurils, with 4 dormant stratovolcanoes, and its name is derived from the Ainu word for salmon trout. Sperm whales are the largest of the toothed whales. Mature males average 16 metres in length and can dive to 2,250 metres. They have the largest brain of any animal on Earth and can live for more than 60 years. The prime target of whalers, a liquid wax extracted from their heads, was used in lubricants, oil lamps and candles, and ambergris is still used as a fixative in perfumes. Fur seals are more closely related to sea lions than true seals, with external ears, long muscular foreflippers and the ability to walk on all fours. Their dense underfur made them targets for commercial hunters. A number of deserted buildings remain here on Tuleni Island from the seal fur trading days between 1854 and 1897. Tuleni is Russian for fur seal. Over 100,000 seals were caught, with over half being taken illegally by foreign vessels. anchor off the town of Korsakov on Sakhalin Island so Russian authorities can come aboard to carry out departure formalities. This was once the site of an Ainu fishing village, but the area has been alternately governed by the Japanese and the Russians, as Sakhalin, like the Kurils, has been another of the regions under dispute. We dock in Otaru on Hokkaido Island, another old Ainu settlement dating back to about 400 AD, its name meaning river running through the sandy beach. Hokkaido Pioneer Village offers a snapshot of a newly industrialised Japan. The entrance is an old railway station opening to a series of streets with buildings from before the 20th century brought together to showcase different styles of architecture. Sapporo TV Tower is a copy of the Eiffel Tower. Long and narrow, Adori Park stretches 15 blocks through the centre of town. This clock tower, constructed in 1875, has become a symbol of Sapporo. The old Aoyama Villa, now a designated historical residence, is a symbol of the herring fishing industry in Otaru. Built regardless of expense and started in 1917, it took 6 years to complete, using exotic timbers and featuring beautiful paintings and calligraphy. Otaru Canal was part of the port in the early 20th century, allowing smaller boats to transport goods to warehouses along its banks. We arrive early in Kanazawa for a speedy disembarkation before the port closes due to an approaching typhoon.